Okay, welcome to the 18th green here at Glenwild Golf Club and Spa in Park City, Utah. This particular hole is a wonderful finishing hole, extremely challenging. Really should be played as a par 5 for most golfers, even scratch golfers. I believe this is the most difficult hole on the course. It's ranked number 2 because of the way course ratings are done, with hole 1 being on the most difficult hole being on the front 9. But as I pan out, you can take a look at this beautiful hole. From back here in the back tee, you're going to hit your approach. You're going to hit your tee shot across a creek that connects these two ponds, and then we have this very large penalty area that works its way all the way down the left side of this hole. The green complex sits here just tucked over the water, which has a pretty sharp slope from the front left down, and some pretty good bunkers here bracketing the green. Most golfers are going to play this in maybe 3 shots, hitting their ball down into this area and approaching it on that way. The longer hitters can reach this green in 2, but even still, a lot of them are going to be hitting longer clubs into this green. Five irons, hybrids. Maybe a 8 or 9 iron if you're a really long hitter. So let's take a look at the green complex, because we know everybody's going to get here at some point with a certain number of strokes. And what I'll do is I'll kind of spin the green a little bit more in this direction, because most people are going to be approaching it from somewhere over here, not necessarily down the length of the green. So let's open it up and take a look and see. We have a ridge that runs along the back of the green. The cart path sits above the back of the green here. In the front section, very slight, very small little false front. The 2 bunkers on the right and the left. So let's take a look at the green complex on the Strackline Green Reading book, and figure out a good strategy for this final hole here at Glenwild. So let's drop in some hole locations that we typically see. We're obviously looking at blue spots, so we can definitely cover up each blue spot here with a hole location, as this is pretty common even down here on the front. Right now, this whole green section can be utilized, and it typically is, as well as much of these green areas. On this particular green, the sections that are marked in pink, they are pushing the ball into these green sections, right? So if you take a look at this ridge right here that kind of comes off the left side of this front right bunker, any shot that kind of hits that ridge will push down here to the left into this green spot. Maybe a bunker shot from the left side onto this pink section will also feed down here into this green section. And you can see how it all kind of converges like a river stream, pushing back and forth until it exits right over here in the front right section of the green. The back section of the green has a couple of pink raised sections right here, and then a couple of lower spots for hole locations, and it can get kind of tricky back in here figuring out where it's breaking, etc. But for the most part, every putt on this green has a tendency to break from the back of the green to the front of the green and slightly to the right side. Okay, so if there was a main pull direction, it would kind of be in this direction, and it wouldn't matter if it was in the back section or the front section. They both kind of go a little bit from back left to front right. So let's divide up our green so that we can strategically look at these quadrants. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half from back to front, and then also in half from left to right, so that we can see what we have to work with here. So let's identify where we definitely do not want to hit the ball. We'll start up here in the back left section of the green. In the back left section of the green, it does include a tree back here on the hill, which is not indicated on the map. But we're gonna just remember there's also a tree there. So that's another good reason to not hit your ball back here. We obviously have a bunker as well. So even though there is one hole location here, strategically you do not want to be coming at any hole locations on this green from this back left section. It's a tricky chip shot, and it's going to require, probably a really highly skilled player from back here to be able to get the ball up and down. Excuse me. So let's go to the front left side of the green. The front left quadrant can include, on an errant shot, this penalty area that you can see on the yardage book down here. Definitely includes a bunker. There are some hole locations that are over here, so a lot of golfers are tempted when they're playing into this hole location, say here on the front left, to go for it. And I'm going to say that is way too risky because it includes a bunker and a penalty area. So let's take a look at the back right section. Actually, the back right section of the screen is not too terrible. I feel like any chip shot that you play from over here on the right side is not too difficult. If you hit the ball way up here on the back and now you're chipping off of this nice bank of rough, yes, it can be challenging because you're going to hit your ball, try to land it. Maybe you're going for this hole location here, chip it onto that hill. More than likely it will actually kind of bounce and roll, go a little bit too far. So although it's not too challenging, I've got a better strategy for you coming up here. Let's take a look at the front right section of the green. Front right section of the green includes a bunker as well, a ridge here, and then the area off the green, not too bad with the exception of if you have to hit, if you're playing to the back right hole location and you come up just a little bit short right, you're going to have to play a pretty delicate little pitch shot over the top of this bunker to the hole location. So this hole obviously can kind of make or break your day. All the bets typically come down to the last hole. Strategically, it would be nice to play this a little bit more stress-free. So I'm going to give you one safe zone location for you to attempt to hit your ball into, and it's right here in the middle. Now the good news is our 20 by 20 doesn't include the bunkers, and our 20 by 20 also keeps us away from the water. So we're going to not necessarily go 20 by 20 on the very front of the green. We're going to kind of come up into the green just a little bit more. So if I remove our quadrants here and just say, look, you've either played well to this point and you're looking for an opportunity to capitalize on that, you're going to hit it in here. Okay? Or you've either played poorly to this point on this hole, I'm saying, and you're going to look at not messing it up, right? So if you've hit your shot down into this area short of the green, and now you're looking to hit an approach into the green, I'm going to say there's only one place I want you to hit it, and that is right here in the center of the middle front section of this green, and I'll show you why that's really helpful. If you hit it in here, you have two pink sections that are going to push your ball from the right side into the middle and from the left side into the middle. So if you accidentally push it just a little bit right onto this ridge, guess what? You're probably going to get lucky and it's going to push your ball kind of right here to the valley, to the bottom of the stream, which is right here in this green section. If you pull it a little bit, hopefully you'll get lucky, hit that bank, and it'll kind of kick back here to the right, and your ball will end up right between these two pink sections or ridges. Now, the reason why this is important is because for the hole location straight away, that's going to give you a great opportunity to sink that putt. For the hole locations that are on the front, it's also going to be putting downhill, which can be tricky. Obviously, at Glenwild, the greens can get very fast. However, if you always hit your shot into this section of the green, you will give yourself many, many opportunities to practice hitting putts to any of these hole locations. Okay? Now, I'm going to say with a little bit of practice, it's going to be far more strategically beneficial to practice essentially from the middle of this green to all hole locations rather than trying to play to specific hole locations. If we then look at the back hole locations, this is a relatively simple uphill putt, and so is this one. It's actually not that difficult from here. You're basically putting straight uphill into that back right section. So even the green complex here on hole 18 can be challenging. However, if you capitalize on great play by hitting it into the middle of the green, you'll finish well and maybe win those bets. If you also play strategically in here, even if you're not playing well, you may minimize your mistakes, maybe come out even. So here's your strategy for hole 18. Basically play it smart down the fairway, take your medicine. Your safe zone location on Google Earth is right here. Just always try to hit the ball right there every single time, no matter where the hole is located, and you're going to have a much greater opportunity to score well coming into your final hole at Glenwild. So thanks for joining me in this video on hole 18, and if you've listened to every single hole, thank you for joining me in this series. I really hope that working through these strategies around the green complexes has really helped you and given you maybe a clearer path for scoring on the greens here at Glenwild. So thank you very much.